Okay, so okay, can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Teacher.
so last Monday we started discussing how to solve quadratic equations, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we have here solving quadratic equations. Now, we said that to solve quadratic equations, we are following three simple steps. Step 1, again, as I recall, what is step 1?
Write the quadratic equation in standard form.
Okay, we need to write in standard form. Number 2, second step.
Simplify by
That and
taking
two
out factors.
Okay, we need to separate into factors. And then the last step is to solve for the unknown. Okay, now we solved several examples. If I'm not mistaken, I gave you three examples last time on how to solve quadratic equations, and then I left you with a problem to solve. Okay, now were you able to solve it? Yes, no? Did you try solving it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm going to get back that problem, okay, I think this is it. Okay, we have here, okay, I think this is the problem. Okay, now we have here the length of a rectangle is 5 centimeters longer than twice its width. If the area is 33 square centimeters, find the measure of its length and width. Okay. Now, let's discuss how to solve this. So, to solve these kinds of problems, it's best if you are able to it's best if you're able to imagine, okay, imagine or visualize what is happening inside the problem. Okay, and how do we do that? The best way to do that is for you to draw or make a representation of this on paper. Okay, so we need to help us visualize what is happening in the problem. We try to represent the thing that is happening inside the problem in a drawing. So if we have here a rectangle, it says there the length of a rectangle is 5 centimeters longer than its width. That means we have a rectangle, right? So if we draw a rectangle like this, at least it will help us visualize the problem there. So now that we have a rectangle, we can now start labeling it with the different information that is now found in the problem. Okay, so we have the sides of a rectangle. Usually we call it a length and the width, because this is labeled as L because it's length, longer, right? While this one is the width, shorter side. Okay, now what other information can we get from the problem? We have
Area.
the area. The area is 33 square centimeters. So the area is the space inside, correct? That's the area here. Everything all inside. So we can say that A area is what? 33 centimeters squared. So our unit is centimeters squared. Okay, 33 centimeters squared. Now what else? What else can we get out of the problem?
The length.
What about the length?
Oke, ceritanya yang kalian pelajari
The length
di halaman
according to
64
this.
itu. Peta
2x
konsep itu,
plus
turunan
5.
fungsi trigonometri.
Okay, the
Jadi
length.
fungsi kostan
Okay, the length of a rectangle is 5 centimeters longer than twice its width. Okay, so how is that? Length of a rectangle, this is 5 centimeters
sekarang yang belajar
longer
tentang sin
than
cos saja.
twice its
Saya rasa
width.
ini pun juga kalian sudah pernah belajar kan?
2x plus
Sin cos
5.
turunan.
2x plus 5. But why did you say 2x plus 5? What is x? We don't have
Cos
The
itu
x.
adalah
2w plus 5.
Okay, that's better. Okay, it says there twice or 5 centimeters longer than twice its width. Twice the width plus 5 centimeters. That's how to symbolize it. Okay, so now that we have this, okay, we now have all the information that we can get out of the problem. It's now time for us to solve. What's the next step here? Okay, the next part here is we need to try to make or form a formula. Okay, but the clue there is here, area. What is the area of a rectangle? What's the formula for that?
Length times width.
Okay, so area is now equal to length times width. Okay, but we have information. A is A, 33. So that means I can substitute, right? W is W and L is this. So if I will substitute all of those information into the formula, I can get what? I can get 33 is now equal to L, which is this, 2W plus 5 times W, which is W. Correct? Okay, with this, can you expand? We will now get what?
33
33 minus 5.
Minus
2w
No, teacher.
2W squared plus 5W.
5w.
Okay, since now that it comes out, we now have a highest exponent of 2. So this falls under quadratic equations. So now that we know that this is a quadratic equation, we can now apply these steps in order for us to solve for the unknown. Okay, so first step, write it in standard form. So what's the standard form of this?
Udah rasanya udah sering
2w square
belajar soal-soal sin cos ini ya.
plus 5w plus 33 equal to 0.
Plus 33 is equal to 0.
Minus 33.
Minus 33 equals
Okay. Okay, so be careful. Okay, so that one is minus. Okay, so minus 33 is equal to 0. Okay, so now that we have it in standard form, the next step is now to separate this part into factors. Okay, now how to factorize this one?
non-perfect square.
Non-perfect square, correct. What type?
Type 2.
Type 2.
Type 2.
Okay, so that's pattern is blank times blank equal to negative 66. Add them together must be 5. Okay, what numbers?
11, negative 6.
11 and negative 6. Correct. So we are not yet done. We will now have here what? 2w plus 11, and then 2w minus 6, and simplify using 2 times 1. So I think this one is 1, this is over 2, and do not forget this is equal to 0. Okay, simplify. Simplify, we have. Are you still there?
2w
Or, okay.
times w minus
Dia nggak berarti kayak gini
Plus
pelajaran
11. Then,
w minus 3
2, not 2. That is now w minus 3
Minus
equal
3.
to 0. Okay, next step. Remember, this is only possible to get 0 out of these two if, again, if one of the groups are 0. Just like what we said before, if you have two numbers a, b is equal to 0, this is only possible if a is equal to 0, b is equal to 0, or both
kenapa?
are 0. Correct? So we can now say that this is possible if 2w plus 11 is equal to 0, or w minus 3 is equal to 0. So what are our answers? W is now equal to, for this
11
one,
over 2
11 over 2.
5.5
Negative.
negative 11
Negative 11 over 2, or if you are thinking about decimals, that is negative 5.5. Okay, how about this? W equal to 3, correct?
3.
Okay, so which one then can we use? We have two answers.
3. I think.
Which one is the correct one?
3
Why 3?
because in
length will be
measurements there
negative
is no negative.
Oh, but both of them are correct. According to our solutions, both of them are correct.
But measurement cannot be negative.
Okay, very good. Measurements cannot be negative. Okay, since this rectangle is a physical object, something like this, as you can see. Okay, we have here a rectangle, and with a rectangle we can measure or take measurements. This side can be measured and this side can be measured. If I'm going to give you a ruler and then tell you, okay, can you please show me negative 5.5 centimeters? Can someone show me how to measure negative 5.5 centimeters? How long is that?
Cannot, teacher.
Cannot, right? Cannot. So that's the reason why only way for us, no, not the only way. Since we cannot present a negative measure, the only option is to reject. We reject the negative measurement, this one. We can say now that this is rejected. Rejected for the reason of no negative distance. Okay, there's no negative distance or length. So this is what we are going to accept. The width of this rectangle now is 3. 3 what? 3 apa? Okay?
Centimeters.
Okay, so never forget your units. Okay, so we will now have 3 centimeters. If we know that the width is 3 centimeters, we can now solve for the length using this. That is now length is now equal to 2w plus 5. Substituting it, L is equal now to 2 times 3 plus 5, and our length now is equal to 6 plus 5, which is now 11. Okay, 11. 11 what? Still 11 centimeters.
Centimeters.
Okay, so there we have it. That's the complete solution for the problem that I have given you last time. Any questions?
No.
No. Okay. So, you can take a screenshot of this. Tell me when you're done. Okay, can I erase it now?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
teacher.
Now, I'll share another screen. Percent share a window, and we have that. Okay, so let's delete that. Now I'll give you another problem for you to solve. This time you try to solve it first, and then later we discuss the correct answer. Okay, the problem goes: a rectangular garden has an area of 70 square meters. SQM means square meters. Okay, if the short side is 2 meters shorter than half of the longer side, what are the dimensions of the garden? I'll repeat. A rectangular garden has an area of 70 square meters. If the short side is 2 meters shorter than half of the longer side, what are the dimensions of the garden? Okay. Done? Okay, anyone finished? Can someone give me their answers? We have the long side, the length, and then we have the width. No one yet?
You're done, answer.
Okay, you're done. Okay, can you share to me your answers only so that we will check it later? What is the length that you got?
14 meters.
I have one answer, 14 meters. We are not yet sure if this is correct. How about your width?
5 meters.
5 meters. Okay. So, anyone else who has a different answer? Okay, so let's see. Let's see. So a rectangular garden has an area of 70 square meters. And if the short side is 2 meters shorter than half of the longer side, what are the dimensions of the garden? Okay, so we have a rectangular garden. Let's draw that. Okay, so let's draw a rectangular garden. We have there the garden. Let's slab in some color into it. Okay, fill solid color. Okay, how's that there? This one. Okay, there's my garden. Now, what are the information that we have here? We have what?
The area.
Area. Okay, so area is now equal to area is equal to 70 square meters. That's 70 meters squared. Okay, what else? What else?
The width.
The width. We have a width obviously, and we have the length over here. Okay, so what do we know about the width? Width is, okay, short side. According to this, it's the short side. So that is now the width. Short side is 2 meters shorter than half of the longer side. So how do we transform that into an expression?
0.5 L minus 2.
0.5, some maybe for some they can understand that, but for some they might not understand it. So when you say half, it's 1 per 2, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's 1/2 of the longer side.
L.
1/2 of L,
L minus 2.
but it is shorter by 2 meters, so minus 2. Okay, that's 1/2 L minus 2. Or you can simplify that to, okay, you can simplify that to W is equal to L over 2 minus 2. Okay, clear? Okay, what else?
Yes.
What else? Anything else? Okay, I think no more. Okay, so we are now asked to find the dimensions. When you say dimensions, that is now the size of its length and its width. Okay, so where do we start? We start with, again, the formula. Area is now equal to length times width. Area is still given to us, which is now 70, and then the length is what? Length is the same, it is still L, multiplied to W, but W is this,
L per 2 minus 2.
minus 2.
Minus 2.
Next, expand and simplify. We will now get 70 is equal to, what's this? That will be L squared over 2 minus
2L.
2L. Okay, next step will be
Make into standard form.
in standard form immediately.
And yeah.
I think it's easier if we remove the fraction first. For me, if possible, if I can remove the fractions, I will remove it so that I will just be dealing with whole numbers, right? Okay, so how do we remove the fraction? Anyone?
Multiply both sides by 2.
Correct. Okay, we multiply both sides by 2. Okay, this one by 2 as well. It will leave us with what? 140 is equal to, this one now becomes L squared minus
L
Minus 4L.
4L. Easier for us to work
for
with.
L.
Okay, standard form next will become, that's L squared minus 4L, then
Minus
minus
140
140 is equal to 0. Okay,
0.
next, factorize. How do we factorize this one?
Non-perfect square type 1.
Type 1. Okay, so blank times blank equal to, copy that, negative 140. Add them together, becomes negative 4. What it is?
Toko mari, namari, toko.
Come on.
10 and negative 14.
10 and negative 14. Correct. Okay. And our factors will be L plus 10, L minus 14, and this is now equal to 0. Solving for the individual values, that will now be L plus 10 equal to 0, and this one is L minus 14 equal to 0, leaving us now two values, L equal to negative 10 and L equal to 14. Okay, so which one will we use? Will it be the
Four-
negative 10 or 14?
14.
Okay, so same reason as before, we reject this one since, okay, there is no negative length. Okay, so we accept this one, that's 14 meters. Okay, and since we have now 14 meters, we can now use this to solve for W. W is now equal to L per 2 minus 2. W is equal to 14 over 2 minus 2, which is now going to give us a width of 7 minus 2 is now 5 meters, and that is now our answer, meaning these two answers given to us a while ago is correct. Okay, so any correct, correct. Okay, questions? Do we have questions?
No.
None. Okay, so that means by Friday we can move on to the next part of our lesson. Okay, if this one is clear, so that means we can now move to our next lesson. Okay, so that is it for today's lesson. Okay, you can screenshot this one, and then after that you can now leave the class. Okay.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
Yes. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, teacher.
Mhm.
Thank you, teacher.
Mhm.